so many great photographers are broke because they focus on the wrong stuff. And I know, at least for me personally, I've worked with many of the top travel brands while traveling the world and getting paid multiple six figures while doing it. And I basically just make these videos because I want to yell at myself to avoid making mistakes that don't actually grow my business. And hopefully you can benefit from it. So the vast majority of things that you'll watch on photography YouTube don't actually help you grow your business, and in a lot of ways are just kind of a waste of time. And I know this because I know, at least for me personally, I would watch those videos every single day, but I would still be stuck just like barely scraping by. And to be honest, most of those videos just added more things to do to my plate because you have to do more to get more, right? Wrong. So in this video, I want to show you 10 things that you need to stop doing to make your life easier and actually help you grow your photography business. So in order to drive this point home, let's just picture your business as a tree. And your goal is to get that tree as tall and as strong as humanly possible. Now, if you ask any gardener how to grow a big, strong tree, they'll tell you that you need to prune it. So in other words, you need to cut off limbs or growth in order to grow it in the right direction. Now, if we look at the word decide, or to make a decision in the Latin root word, it's actually based off the word decidere. I hope I'm saying that right, but it literally means to cut off. So in order to decide to grow, you actually have to cut off everything that is not allowing you to grow in the direction you want to. So if you have a tree and you prune the limbs, what you're doing is cutting off potential growth off to the side so that the tree can actually allocate more resources to growing up. So for you personally, in order to grow your photography business in the way that you want it to, you actually have to cut off all the little distractions or side limbs that are growth, but they're in the wrong direction, so you can actually allocate your resources to growing in the right direction. So that brings us to the first thing that you need to stop doing or cut off in order to start growing your photography business so that you're not broke anymore. And that first thing is you need to stop procrastinating. Action creates opportunities, and inaction, or another word would be procrastination, actually detracts opportunities from you. So if you're waiting to reach out to clients, or waiting to do sales calls, or waiting to build your website, or waiting to post that content, what you're actually doing is sidelining yourself, and you're going to be on the sidelines until you eventually have to quit and get a job or do something different because you actually haven't created any opportunities for yourself. Which brings me to the second thing you need to stop doing, which is a massive way to procrastinate, which is watching YouTube videos. Now, I know you're watching this one right now, so maybe just like finish watching this one and then cut it off. So this is what I would call productive procrastination. And the reason I call productive procrastination is because we feel like we're productive because we are, learning stuff. But in reality, what we're learning is actually not progressing us towards our goal, because there's really only two things we can do to build our business. We can either get more clients, or we can get our clients to pay us more money. So if what you're doing is not accomplishing either of those, then in reality, you're just procrastinating. The third thing that you need to stop doing is buying new gear. So I don't know about you, but I used to be a massive gearhead. I would sit there on YouTube watching all the reviews, and then I would pull up the Amazon and I'd look at all the different, spec sheets, and one's 45 megapixels, one's 43, and I would sit there for hours literally watching every review I could. But then I would get on set, and guess what? No client ever asked me how many megapixels my camera is because they literally don't care. So now I literally show up on set with my A7R III that I think it came out in 2018. I have a Mavic Air 2S, which I think came out in 2020 or 21 or something like that. And it's just fine for the vast majority of my projects. Now, if a project comes up where a client needs a very specific spec, then I can always rent the gear and charge them a rental fee. But the chances of that happening is pretty slim. So honestly, I can get paid more with my setup that I just explained than a lot of creators can with gear that they just bought this year. The fourth thing that you need to stop doing is fearing failure. So if you look at all the most successful people in the world, the Elon Musk, the Jeff Bezos of the world, they actually view the concept of failure very different than most people do. So they'll look at situations and they'll be like, just because it didn't turn out the way that I had pictured or envisioned it doesn't mean that I failed, because the only way I can fail is if I just don't learn from the mistake or just quit altogether. So what they do is, instead of making avoiding failure the goal, or even making success the goal, they make doing the actions that create success the goal. So I'll give you a few examples. So let's just say that you want to get more clients, and you're like, if I send 30 outreach messages a day, that would give me a lot of opportunities to get in front of decision makers that would eventually potentially lead to getting a client, right? So instead of making the goal like, I want to get a client, we make the goal the action. The action is, I'll send 30 messages a day, and whether I get a yes or no or nothing doesn't matter, because the goal is around the action. And it's either yes, I did it, check, or no, I didn't. And the question is, why not? Another example would be, say I know that I need to get on sales calls in order to get clients. Well, then the goal would be to get on, let's say, 5 sales calls a week. And if I didn't do it, then the question is, why not? And if I did, success is not, did I close a client? It's, did I get on those calls. And if I get on enough of those calls or do enough of the actions that produce the results, then chances are pretty high that I could probably close a client. So the truth is, everybody is bad by default. That's just the default option. But the only way to become a champion is to continue doing the actions that champions do over and over and over again, continue to get the reps until you become so good that you are no longer bad. Which brings me to the fifth thing that you should stop doing, which is being a perfectionist. So a lot of people procrastinate not because they just don't want to do the thing, but actually because they fear that they are going to fail and they don't want to be perceived as a failure because they want to be perceived as perfect, right? And I personally struggle with this a lot because I had grown a following and I had this certain kind of status where I felt like a lot of people expected me to be an expert and to be making a lot and to know how to close clients and all these different things. But in reality, I wasn't really making that much. But because I was trying to have that perception of perfection, it actually kind of held me back from doing the things that are necessary, the actions, right? So I wouldn't reach out to companies. I wouldn't do sales calls. I wouldn't even post stuff that was outside of my grid, like red, blue, green theme, because I didn't want to rock the boat or show any kind of sense that I was not perfect at this. And honestly, it wasn't until I just was like, screw that. Like, I'm going to post what I need to post. I'm going to reach out to the client, and whether they respond or think I'm an idiot or whatever, like, I don't care. I'm just going to do it, because it wasn't until I did that I was actually able to grow, because again, I was doing the reps or the actions that actually produce the results. The next one is a huge one. So you need to stop blaming others for your current circumstance. So I know it's a huge, like, super popular thing in pop culture today to basically convince people that you're a victim and to try to get them to feel sorry for you. Whether that's saying, you know, I can't get clients because there's too much competition. I wish I was like him who started back in 2017. Or, you know, I can't do sales calls because I have an accent. Or, you know, brands won't hire me because I don't have enough followers. So I guess I'm screwed until I get more followers. Like, there's all kinds of different excuses we can make, and you can 100% make those excuses. No one's going to stop you. But the reality is, are those excuses actually getting you closer to your goal? And my guess would be probably not. So something that I like to do whenever I start to feel those kind of thoughts come up is I ask myself, has somebody else that's similar to me been in this similar situation before and actually gotten the result that I want to get? If the answer is yes, then why can't I? The seventh thing that you need to do if you want to stop being broke as a photographer is you need to stop neglecting sales. And likely if you're in this industry, you got into it because you wanted to be creative, but you'll stay in this industry in the long term because you learned how to do sales and marketing. And listen, I get it. Most people don't want to do that or don't want to hear that, because I personally hated sales. I didn't want to be the sleazy sales guy. I didn't even want to learn it. But I got to this point in my career where I basically had no option. It was either I don't learn sales and marketing and I have to go get some random other job that I didn't want to do, even worse than doing sales and marketing, or I did the hard, boring thing, or at least what I thought at the time was boring, of learning sales and marketing, and then eventually give myself a chance to probably be able to close more clients and actually do what I loved for a living. And it turns out once I started to learn these things, I actually really started to fall in love with sales and marketing, and I actually do it all the time now. It's actually something that's a big passion of mine. So not saying that it's going to become a passion, but it's definitely something that can lead to you being able to pursue your passion. The eighth thing that you need to stop doing is posting random content. So the concept of posting content consistently is honestly just a waste of time unless you have a very specific strategy behind it. So like, you used to be able to post random content back in like 2017, 2018, 2019, and you know, basically everything would get a bunch of likes, engagement, whatever. Like, it's pretty easy to grow. But now it's kind of just a waste of time unless you have a strategy. So anything you post should go through the filter of two things. Either one, does this help me get the attention of my ideal client? Not random people on the internet, not likes and views and all that stuff. Does it get the attention of my ideal client, number one? And number two, does this take them a step further to actually wanting to book a call with me or hire me? So if you look at the content you're creating and it doesn't answer yes to either one of those questions, then at that point, that content is not actually serving your business. And I'm not saying don't post about your trip or your food or, you know, some random vlog or something like that. Like, totally, if you want to do that, do that. But just understand that that would be your own personal hobby, your own personal time, and that does not grow your business. The only thing that grows your business is content that either gets the attention of your ideal client or gets them closer to actually booking a call with you. The ninth thing that you have to stop doing to grow your photography business is you have to stop being distracted. There's a million ways that you can grow your photography business. I mean, you can do TikTok ads, Instagram ads, you can post on Craigslist, you can do billboards, you can, you know, cold reach out emails to all kinds of people. Like, there's a million ways that you can do this, but the question is, what are the one or two options that are going to get you to your goal most efficiently? And that's why brands hire strategists or agencies or consultants. It's because these people are able to look through the sea of all the random options that are available and are able to pinpoint the one or two or three things that the brand should do to achieve the result that they want to, and that's why they get paid a lot of money. And that's also also why I'm really big on coaching and mentorship and investing in courses and all that kind of stuff. Because yes, I have to spend money. Yes, I have to spend time, but I'd much rather invest those things into somebody who's a few steps ahead of me and can shorten my learning curve and the pain and suffering of having to go through mistakes they already made, so that I can actually just shortcut my success and get to the point that I want to. So whenever you can, investing in that kind of stuff is really, really helpful. And the 10th and final thing that you need to stop doing is you need to stop being a one-man or a one-woman show. And honestly, it took me way too long to learn this, and it's weird because I knew the concept of hiring people is a thing, obviously, because I've had jobs before, but for some reason it never dawned on me that I could actually be the one that was hiring people. I know it sounds weird, but like maybe you're there too. But then one day a friend of mine basically just said, hey, you know, if you ever need someone to help you out on a shoot, just let me know. I can help you out. And I kind of like blew it off at first. I was like, no, I'm a creator. I'm gonna do it. Brands hire me. They don't hire random other people, whatever. But then at some point I was like, you know what? Yeah, actually that might be helpful if they could do the shoot for me. So I kind of outsourced it, and then I was shocked. I was like, wow, they actually did a good job. So then I outsourced another gig, and then I started outsourcing editing and sales and other random, business projects that I had, to the point where now I only work on projects that are actually things that I really want to work on, that I have a lot of fun with, or things that I'm like really good at. And yes, obviously it'll cost you money to hire people. It'll cost you time in terms of training and, kind of managing, but the amount of money and time you save when you invest in this is astronomical. So like just hiring an editor saved me probably 30 hours a week of time, right? That I can spend it getting clients, working on other clients, or just doing whatever the heck I want to do. So those are the 10 things that you should stop doing if you want to grow your photography business. But if you want to know the 3 things that you should start doing, then you want to check out this video here, because I lay out the entire roadmap from start to finish of how to grow a photography business from 0 to 20,000 a month. So check it out right there.